Hi, my name is Carlos Correa. I am bartender from Marquee Hotel, and I'm the host of the Rum Experience. And today, I would like to immerse you in the fascinating world of the rum Colombia. The rum comes from the southwest of Asia, exactly from Papua Nueva Guinea. They send the sugarcane to the east of Arabia and after Europe and then to America. In your table, you have a piece of sugarcane. If you want to try just to shoot a little bit. I'll be present here a fresh example of the sugarcane juice. It's just to know the raw material that the rums come from. That's sweet, right?
Love it.
Sweet. What do
Yeah.
you think of when you think of rum? I think DR and I think Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know which rum I found in Geneva?
Which one?
From my homeland in St. Lucia. They have a beautiful St. Lucian rum.
No kidding. Yeah, actually, I think I know that. What's the name of it? Do you remember?
I have no idea.
Yeah, but I think I knew
It's
that.
sitting in somewhere.
Yeah, talking about the sugarcane, we know like comes from the southwest of Asia. India was the bigger plantation of sugarcane by the royalty England, and after in Madeira, Portugal, and after in Dominican Republic, that I mentioned before. What you're doing here when you choose the sugarcane piece is choose. You take the juice of the sugarcane. This is basically what the mills, what is this divided is, in many factories in Colombia, do with the sugarcane is squeezed to obtain the juice, to make the first step, what is the fermentation process. This is known as the wine of sugarcane. But after that, we have to mention the process of the elaboration of distillation. Let me present here one sample of the aguardiente, but in Colombia we call biche. Biche is the pure distillation from the fermentation of the sugarcane. I'm gonna present here a little bit.
This will put hair in your chest.
Alcohol content.
Salute.
Cheers.
This is the first process of elaboration of rum. The next process is use the alambique or epoxy. What is this device? Alambique is a device that through the thermal shot, we separate the alcohol from the fermentation through the boiling. Remember that the water boils in 100 degrees Celsius and the alcohol boils in 70 degrees Celsius. We control the temperature, we separate the alcohol, basically condenser here in this set, and through the swag net, the alcohol vapor going to the condenser, and the condenser set is what we have here. One question here: where you think the rum come from? Just to know,
The first rum ever made?
the first one ever made it.
I'm looking at the map there. Is that a hint?
Barbados.
Is it Barbados? No,
You had right.
There
You
go.
had right. Yeah. You had the first person that hit the nails.
Do you know what I love about rum? Is it's so often made in tax-friendly countries.
Yeah. Europeans try to replicate this technique of the alambique in your own country. They make different kind of spirit. For example, France distill your own wine to get cognac. Spain distill your own wine too to get brandy. Scots distill your own beer, just basically kind of beer, fermentation of barley to create the first whiskey ever. To finish here, mention the most important process of the rum, what is the aging process. This process, what you can see here, is the sharing process. The first step is caramelize inside the barrel in the liquid what is the rum, what is the tafia, the contact with the barrel is what they have the colors and flavors and aroma, of course. So that system is basically when we blend the rum, the different kind of barrel, and after single barrel is when the only rum is fully rest from one year or depending or they want for the rest of the time. Present here the rum parcel from Armenia Quindío. This is a rum with 8 years in single barrel. In a table mat in each circle you have each rum that you're gonna drink, and next to the max to know where the rum below.
Cheers.
Salute. It's crazy that we've known each other for 11 years. You've since moved here to Colombia.
Yeah, I remember when we met, Andrew. It was Mexico City. It was the first spot we met. We went on a tour through Mexico. I remember everyone else being relatively casually dressed, and you, of course, in your dapper suit.
Tom Ford.
Tom Ford, of course. Drew my attention, let's say it like that. And I went over to make conversation among all the people that were there at this event. And I remember asking you, where are you from, Andrew? Yeah, came back your response. I thought maybe you didn't hear me. I said, no, no, where are you from? Yeah. And that's when I knew you were an interesting character. You were going to keep me entertained, at least through that night, if not for our friendship and the rest of our lives.
Because I don't like being asked where I'm from.
I noticed that quickly.
I was thinking of you because I was at this wine event when we were filming Living a King Madrid, and the people there, we were doing this Krug champagne tasting, and they're like, where are you from? I just think it's such a poorly formed question, and we just wanted this twisted. But after 3 hours, by the way, after 3 hours, they finally came around like, oh, you're like the most serious, like direct guy here.
Well, it's funny because your answer was intriguing to me. It actually made you interesting, international man of mystery, as I eventually came to know you. But your approach to life and your nomad lifestyle, which quickly became the talking point, struck me as something that hit my heart, I guess, and spoke to me on a different level. I started traveling when I was young and have gotten bit by that travel bug ever since. And seeing the way you've encouraged other people and explained to me how you help people jump borders and find better places to live was very intriguing to me.
The next round will be run they call us 16 years. This is a run from Caldas Manizales. It's a run made by blend of single barrel, and they have more years inside in the barrel, of course. So present here, Viejo de Caldas.
16 years old.
There are many varieties, yeah.
So the intention is meet a different profile of around Colombia. First one single barrel. This is blend of single barrel, different flavors and aroma. Cheers.
Since we met, you got married to a Colombian American. You decided to come back and live here with her.
Yeah.
What motivated that?
We've been looking to get out of the States for a while. I've always had my eyes on traveling elsewhere and living elsewhere. My wife is from here, and while it wasn't the original destination we talked about, we were on vacation here 6 years ago, and it just made total sense to come to Colombia. We both, she has roots here, of course, but I've never been to Colombia. In the 7 or 8 trips I had come prior to deciding to move here, I fell in love with the country. It's such an easy country to fall in love with.
Why is that?
There's a certain magic quality to the life here in Colombia. I mean, the biodiversity here, first of all, I lived in Florida for 13 years. You have to drive 8 miles out of Florida to see anything except for beach and shopping malls. So to come here to Colombia, and in any direction you drive within an hour, sometimes not even that far, you'll see rivers, you'll see mountains, there's a chance you'll see ocean, you'll see valleys, you'll see all kinds of flora and fauna, the most wild variety of birds. It's a very textured life here that I fell in love with.
Peaceful.
Peaceful is one way to say it. I mean, we live in a city, so there's, obviously the hustle and bustle of the city, it's evident. But even then, I think there's a certain peace and harmony to the people here. There's a warmth to the culture. There's a warmth to the people. It's very welcoming. I can't say enough about how I feel as a non-native Colombian, how welcoming they've been and how welcome I feel in a country that's not my own.
It's interesting to see over the last couple months, Trump getting into office, everything with Justin Trudeau, everything in the UK. People don't have so much peace these days in the West, and I think you come here as a foreigner like yourself, you can have a certain sense of peace here.
There's no question about it. I think politics is present here for sure, but it doesn't take the stage of everyday life here. People love to live here. They love to enjoy family and friends. It comes first. Work and politics and responsibilities are obviously present, but the priority, I think, is that there's a life to be lived. We only go around once, and let's enjoy it with the people we love the most.
Do you get into Colombian politics at all?
I dabble. We have,
Really?
I've studied political science, and that was my passion growing up. So it's impossible for me not to pay attention to politics going on. It's been an interesting couple of years here because there's been a change in government from right to left, and there's been anxieties and everything that comes with it. I more pay attention to the conversations as opposed to inserting myself because it's not my country, and I don't have, let's say, not that it's not my country. Let's just say it's not my fight, perhaps, as people get passionate about the...
Yeah, a lot of people are worried about Petro.
Yeah.
Halfway through his term now, I think?
Mm-hmm, just about. There was a certain amount of anxiety because Colombia, for the recent history, has only known right-wing governments. And so when a left government came in, was a lot of fear that, the common trope, we'd end up like Venezuela, that we'd, see socialism, control the business. I haven't seen that come in. Obviously, there's been changes in government for sure. There are fans of him and there are absolute detractors who don't like him. But the stability of the country, from my perspective, hasn't suffered. I found it to be a very smooth transition from one power to the other, which I think to me is a very strong indication of how far Colombia has come in the last 30 to 40 years.
In the context of politics where we're from in the US, I'm certainly not left-wing, probably not that much right-wing anymore either, very libertarian. And yet I think that probably a lot of people watching this, the reason to not go to Colombia is Petro. The reason to not go somewhere else is something else. There's always a reason. And I kind of think if you transcend politics to some extent, if you live our lifestyle, then it's much less relevant than just staying in the US and swimming in that soup.
I couldn't agree more. And I'll tell you from personal experience or personal observation, I've seen a tremendous amount of development in the last couple of years. Some of these projects might have been in play prior to Petro's arrival, but the fact that there hasn't been a stop of them or that there hasn't been a break in the development and the construction around, to me is a strong indication that things are proceeding pretty much as normal.
The next rum will be Ron Gobernador from Cartagena de India. This is around 12 years by the Solera system. It's a blend of rum. There's no single barrel. So aromas and flavor you will discover because this rum is below the Caribbean region of Colombia. The first two below the Indian region, the mountain region. So you will fix a different flavor in this rum.
Are you a paisa?
I'm from the Caribbean.
You're a costeño.
Yeah, costeño, from
Where?
Santa Marta.
From Santa Marta.
Oh,
Yeah.
Santa Marta is one of my favorite places in all of Colombia.
Thank you.
One hour you're on the beach getting sun. The next hour you're up in the mountains putting on your jacket. It's beautiful.
They say that all the time in Southern California. You're 1 hour to the beach and you're 1 hour to the slopes. You have that in Chile. You think you have, can you ski here? Not, there's slope, there's mountains, but not skiing.
No.
No. But you can be all kinds of, as you said, biodiversity. You can be in the city like Medellin, and then you can go to the pretty easily. They say that, I think in particular Bogota, but perhaps Colombia, is one of the easier places to learn Spanish because it doesn't have a distinct dialect.
There are dialects throughout the country, but I'll tell you one of the funny jokes with my wife. She always swore that Colombians spoke the best Spanish, and me being from the United States and having all kinds of references, I would joke with her and say, you're being proud of your current. As I've come here, I can absolutely agree. It's one of the most pleasant sounding versions of Spanish. Yeah.
So you'll probably.
And I should say, here in Medellin and in this Paisa region, there's a certain melody to the way that it's spoken that is around the world admired.
So you will probably be U.S., you'll keep the U.S., I guess, and you'll be Colombian.
That's right.
And you'll pick whichever one you want to travel on.
That's right.
The next one will be rum like Gisela from Barranquilla. You know Shakira, right?
We know Shakira.
We've heard of her, yes.
This is a special rum, one of the best rums that we have in the country because it's a blend of rum, the most younger, 12 years to 21 in the Solera system. So you will fit different flavors and aromas here in this rum. La Hechicera is kind of witchcraft. Witchcraft,
Yes.
exactly.
Witchcraft.
Be careful where you tread with La
Yeah.
Hechicera.
I will say back in my early days in Colombia, I seemed to always meet the Barranquilleras. I'm not sure what it was.
Let's continue with Dictator rum. Let me present here in the label. 12 years by Solera system. That means like it's a blend rum from Cartagena de India, but this rum has something special. They finished 1 year after the Solera system process in sherry cask. Even you dream, the flavor is development in your mouth.
Salud.
Salud.
Cheers.
To the Dictator.
And may there never be one.
Yeah, the first sip, you will see that development of flavors is so different.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's really
it's
good.
like a
Christmas rum.
caramel almost.
Very,
Yeah,
very nice.
maple
Very
syrup,
rich.
maple syrup, honey,
Yeah.
chocolate. Yes.
Very rich. It pains me to tell you that my favorite one is the Dictator.
Yeah?
That's good.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Well done.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
You're going to go smoke your cigar.
I could use a cigar.
Let me get a cocktail.
Sounds good.
See you at dinner.
Amazing.
present signature cocktail making by myself. Thank you.
Gracias.
You up?
Cheers. Jesse Waters says real men don't use straws. And they don't eat soup. Only a hearty stew.